guys, this week I want to talk about the Absynth audio in functions, and we're gonna sidechain some audio to Absynth. First I'd like to remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out ADSRsounds.com, and also check out our Facebook pages. And the liking and sharing and all that stuff on the Facebook pages, that really helps, and that makes us able to, well, that enables us to make more videos and share more ideas with you guys, and that's always a good thing. So without further ado, let's dive into Absynth, and I'll show you the audio in module and the audio in options. Right, the first thing we need to do when we're gonna set this up is we're gonna choose a loop. It can be anything, can be a drum loop, can be a vocal sample, doesn't matter, but drum loop is the easiest for this example because it has a lot of transients. And I've chosen just an Apple loop. It's this one right here, and I can set it to the output so you can hear what it sounds like. That's our drum loop, and it has nice clear transients. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this to a bus. I already set one up, and I'll send it to bus 20 for now, but it really doesn't matter. And then I'll go to that bus and I'll give the bus no output, so we won't hear it, but we can see that the signal is reaching bus 20. Then we go into Absynth, and then here in our sidechain box in Logic we choose bus 20, and now we can see in the input here that we're getting some signal. You can see that right there. And this is the way you set up the sidechain in Logic. And if we go to Ableton real quick, you can see that I already set it up here. For you Ableton users, you take one audio channel and you place a loop there, and then you open the input output section with this button on the right, and then this section pops up, and here you're going to choose audio 2, and then you choose your MIDI track with Absynth on it, and then the Absynth track you set to monitor in. And now when I play the drum loop, I don't see anything in Absynth until I raise this fader, and now I can see that the signal is reaching Absynth. So that's how it works in Ableton. And now inside Absynth there are a few things we can do with this new audio signal. First, if we go over here, we set the audio trigger to audio, and then we can choose a note here. And I also have a note in my MIDI track, just one long note. And now when I play it, it's gonna listen to this drum loop, and it's gonna trigger the note whenever the drum loop hits, whenever a drum hits. And I can mess with that with these master envelope settings. And here I can still change the pitch. And now I can do a whole lot of stuff with it, just all the other effects. I can use some delays. And one thing you have to keep aware of, if that's a normal sentence, is this slider here, because this one is going to be your trigger, and it only triggers when the signal is reaching this slider. So when I set it all the way to the right, you can hear just the first one from the note, but then I can't hear it because you can see that the trigger only reaches to here. So if I slide this down, there you go. So here you can choose the note, but you can also change the notes in the patch window. And of course you can automate that. And the great thing about this is also that when I have a track, for example, I have a little track here. Let's say I like a rhythm here, like this one. I can send that rhythm to a bus, like I already did. I have sent it to bus 21 for this example, and I give that bus no output. So you can see that it's reaching bus 21. And now I hear the original signal, and I have a copy, just a blank copy that I'm going to use for Absynth. So then when I open another Absynth track, I'll open up Absynth and I'll say Sidechain bus 21. That's right. And I'll go to my perform page and I check if all the settings are correct. It's set to audio, the trigger is pretty low, so that should be good. And now I got my Absynth working with the rhythm of the track. And I've got a little bit of delay, but that is just my system, and partly because this sound doesn't really have a very sharp attack. So it's awesome to use with drum loops. If you got a drum loop, for example, you can make a pad in Absynth and let it listen to the drum loop, and then you're gonna get a nice overall groove. So I can open a high pass filter here, and I can maybe try the equalizer. So that's one really great way of using Absynth. Then there's one other quick way, quick tip I want to show you, very fast. But since we're talking about audio in, we take those themes. I wanted to say themes too, but I mean those same two. We take those same two channels. We have our drum loop going to bus 20. We have Absynth. Absynth is listening to bus 20, and now instead of an oscillator, I'm gonna set this one to audio in, and I'm gonna set this to stereo, and we check our settings here. Everything works fine. I lower the volume a bit, and I disable the equalizer. And now our drum loop is coming into Absynth. I can make it mono or stereo, and we can still mess with the envelopes. Sorry if that was a bit loud. I've got 2 loops there, the other one is a bit loud. And you still need to set the trigger so that you keep hearing the sample. And now when I go over to the patch, I can just mess with my drum loop in great ways. For example, I could set up some filter modulation, sync and loop this, and can do this. And if we set the trigger to off here, because now it's gonna re-trigger, if you set to audio, it's gonna re-trigger every time it gets a transient. But if you set this to off, the envelopes won't re-trigger, and the advantage of that is that you can make longer loops, because you can see now this bar is just scrolling through. And if I set it to trigger, you can see that this bar is re-triggering every time. So for this I'm going to set this to off. And then I can use a wave shaper maybe. And maybe the pipe effect. And I'm gonna choose one other thing, and that is the comb. We set this to Hertz maybe. So yeah, that's the other cool trick. Just use the audio in module, and you can use this one. You can use 3 of them if you want. Really awesome Absynth feature. Go check it out. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.